And so today's presentation is on choosing self-care. As you all know, I'm Tia Marsili, and I am a yoga instructor. And I also help with, I spelled management incorrectly. I see that now, stress management, but don't stress about that. And I'm a yoga therapist in training.
I'm an English teacher. I can't help it.
I know, right? I thought I caught everything else, and then on the main slide, I didn't. So we'll have to correct that before I give you the slides again. I started practicing yoga when I was 15. I was in high school. My dad was the night hall monitor and at the high school. And so I would ride with him, a friend of mine, and I would ride with him, and I took yoga. And I did it for a few years, and then life changed and I got away from doing yoga. And then I started doing it again, I don't know, when I moved to Virginia 20 years ago, off and on. But then in 2013, and it was actually my now ex-husband left, moved back to his home country. And I thought I need to take some time to myself. And so in Charlottesville, Virginia is an ashram, the home of a guru. And the town is called Yogaville. They had it incorporated, which I just think is fun. But anyway, I went there for my basic teacher training in yoga. And then a couple of years later, I went back for my intermediate yoga teacher training. I have not taken the advanced yet, but I am an intermediate yoga instructor. And I'm I'm becoming a yoga therapist. So there's an 800-hour certification program in order to become a yoga therapist. And I'm just about halfway through that program. So in the yoga therapist program, we're learning adaptive yoga, restorative yoga, accessible yoga. I've taken courses in yoga for the child with special needs as well, and some other different courses, all from this same ashram in Charlottesville. And it's international as well, and it's accredited. So it's really nice that there's somewhere that close to home, since I'm in Vienna, Virginia, where I can go and take these courses. And I have found that it's incredibly helpful now everything's gone online, as you know, so a lot of our training is video conferencing with mandatory participation and homework and practical teacher trainings and instructions and whatnot. And it's been, during this time of COVID, delightful in that I've met a whole new group of people, and we meet 3 to 4 times a week. And although it is stressful, I took the stress management course first. Although it is stressful to have so much on my calendar, when I walk into these classes, we start by centering and we calm ourselves. And it's been very good for me. And I've been doing this since July, and it has just been fantastic. So that gives you some background about who I am and what we're going to be talking about today. And the slides will be available, because I just noticed the typo. I will fix that, and any other typos we see, Jan can help me if we see more. And then I'll update it and send it out, and Jan can send it to everyone. But I've asked you, consider this intellectual property, and I ask you not to copy or use this exact presentation. Of course, you can use from it what you'd like to use, that's fine. So let me just figure out how to manage the PDF. There we go. So our agenda today is the introduction, which I'm doing right now. And then we'll be centering. I'll do a brief presentation, and then we'll do some stretching and deep relaxation and breathing techniques, a time for silence, and then a closing, because it's super important to know how to manage our stress, especially during the holidays, but also on a day-by-day basis. So before I jump into the presentation, we'll start with a simple centering exercise. So I ask everyone to, if it looks like everybody's in a chair, which is great. So sit on your chair if possible. Do not use the backrest. Place your feet firmly on the floor, knees above the ankles. And I'm going to move back here so you can see me, so you can see how we're sitting. With an elongated spine, which means you're also going to be tucking your chin slightly. I have people popping up on mine for admission, just so you know, so I'm admitting them into the space.
I'm trying.
Okay. You just muted yourself, Jen. Elongated spine, chin slightly tucked. The palms of your hands either on the thighs, face down or face up, whatever's comfortable for you. And then close your eyes or soften your gaze toward the floor and focus on your breath. Notice how you're breathing in through the nose and then exhale out through the nose. In and out. Continue breathing gently and let go of yesterday. Let go of what you have to do later today, this weekend. This moment is meant for you. So you're going to bring your focus into the moment. And as you breathe, inhale a little more deeply and feel the air flowing into the lungs and expanding the chest. And exhale. Inhale deeply and exhale slowly. Inhale through the nose, expanding the chest, the lungs, the diaphragm. Exhale from the belly, up, out, letting go of any tension you may be holding. This is a form of three-part breathing where you're expanding the chest, the lungs, and the diaphragm. And then on the exhale, gently pulling in the belly and expelling as much air as you can. Again, inhale deeply. Exhale slowly. And when you're ready, gently open the eyes so that we can move into our next section of our presentation. That's my daughter in the background looking for our missing cat. Okay. Thank you. So, I don't know if you're aware of this, but 46%, so nearly half of parents state that their stress levels during COVID is very high. So it's rating, parents are rating this between 8, 9, and 10 on a 10-point scale. And this is from the American Psychological Association. There has been, in the last few years, a lot of research being done about stress and stress-related illnesses and the effects of yoga and exercise and how we can be using these practically in order to feel better on a daily basis and have a long-term effect on our health. There are 5 things that you should know about stress, and these 5 bullet points I took from the National Institute of Mental Health. And again, there is so much research nowadays that if you simply put in stress and yoga or what I need to be thinking about to calm myself, you're going to find these top 5 indicators. Stress affects everyone, right? We're all stressed. And there are different types of stress, right? It can be, and the stress has physical effects on us, and it also affects our mental health. I'm stressed out. That's really stressing me. I can't take it. How many times do you hear it? Maybe not so much in the office anymore because a lot of us are working remotely, but I do know that the outer stressors, especially at the start of COVID, with having both of my adult daughters with disabilities home with me and me trying to work full time at the dining room table because I had no office at that point in the house, that it was really starting to affect not only my well-being, but the well-being of my daughters. And so everyone, we were speaking beforehand, everybody that has people at home with them knows that it's kind of difficult to be at home all of the time with everybody in your space. At the same time, for those people that are living alone, one of my coworkers lives alone. It's been incredibly stressful for her as well because she didn't have any interpersonal contact with others. So we're all being affected by stress, whether we're living alone, living with a lot of people, whether we're in Virginia or on Guam or Iceland, it doesn't matter. We're all being stressed out because of this. The emotional and physical strain caused by those outside pressures, right? It happens, as we know, when life is too difficult and we don't have the resources to deal with it. So hopefully today at the end of our session, you'll feel like you have some resources that you can use. They're going to be on hand and available to you at any given time. The tension in our body is extreme, and the tension in our minds as well. And as I mentioned, there are external and internal stressors. So we're all familiar with the external stressors. I'll go into a little more detail about that. The internal stressors, though, let me tell you now, that's what we put upon ourselves. Am I going to do this well enough? Oh my God, I have 17 things to do. How am I going to get it all done? I'm an imposter. I really can't do this. Nobody's going to believe me. Or my children have to be raised perfectly and I need to do this. Those are internal stressors. We bring those on ourselves. Those are things that we bring. And so we will be talking about positive thought and how to get out of that cycle. Not all stress is bad though. And I love the English language in that words like distress, right? You don't think about it, but look at that word stress right in there. Distress. It's a dangerous situation that we're in, right? And stress signals to the body are there to prepare us to face a threat, either fleeing to safety or freeze, right? Fight, flight, or freeze. But there's positive stress, eustress. Those are positive events like having a baby, getting a new job, moving into a new home. They're stressful, but it's a positive form of stress with a positive outcome attached to it. So I love this. I love this visual. It's kind of looks familiar. Even the hair length is right. But the physiology of stress, external stressors, right up along the top. The news, right? Not only COVID, but the elections and the hospitalizations and the wars and the famine. There's so much that's stressing us out. Arguing with a spouse or a friend, not enough money. People have lost their jobs. They don't have enough income coming in at this point. Work stressors. And what happens when we have all those stressors? Well, it starts affecting us, our heart, right? Some people start abusing alcohol and drugs. They start smoking. There are, overeating. There are a lot of ways that people deal with this stress that are unhealthy. That physiology of the stress. So what happens, there's Jason. What happens whenever we're stressed is adrenaline and cortisol is released. Our heart rate increases. We breathe. We start almost hyperventilating, right? The blood flow is diverted. And this fact, when I learned this, I thought this was super interesting because I was aware of everything else on this list, but your blood thickens as well. So when your blood thickens, your blood flow slows down. The blood is also diverted, so it goes away from the extremities. And if you were wounded, if you think a gazelle being chased by a tiger, fight, flight, or freeze, if that gazelle were attacked by that tiger, the blood is not flowing as much. It's thickened, so it coagulates also more quickly. I just think the human body is fantastic. But that gazelle and tiger situation is a perfect example of hopefully choose to flee, right? And if there are two of them, one of them's going to sadly lose their life. If they fight, they would only be doing that if they were backed into a corner. And a freeze response, though, is also common. And I see that in one of my daughters. The fat and glucose is released for energy, and the immune system is repressed. So when you think about that, when we look at animals, it becomes obvious to us. The same thing happens to human beings. So imagine you're standing on a street corner with your child and you're waiting to cross the street. You're waiting calmly at the intersection and the light changes and your child begins to step off the curb. And you see out of the corner of your eye this crazy person driving around the corner and you know they're not going to stop. You go into fight mode, right? You tense up. Usually the shoulders come up. You start breathing. Your heart starts pumping. You go, you grab your kid and bring him back onto the curb. There's an immediate release, an immediate activity. The mind works and then the body kicks in. And we're needing to protect that person and protect ourselves. You're safe. The threat's removed. You calm down. Everything eventually goes back to normal. But that incident, if it's only occasionally, there will not be long-term harm. The adrenaline, cortisol levels normalize as well, et cetera. So there's not long-term harm at that point. Where the long-term issue is that it becomes chronic. So long-term stress can harm your health. For example, raising kids with disabilities. Maybe I'm the only one, but I have a feeling I'm not. I think we all live in this now with COVID. We're living in a higher level of constant stress anyway. Everybody is much more stressed, quote, simply, unquote, because of the coronavirus and how things are being dealt with. That's going to have a long-term effect on us unless we start using techniques to help ourselves. So coping with that impact of the chronic stress can be challenging, and we need to step in and do something about that. Sorry, I went the wrong way with that page down. So what are some of the illnesses? So long-term stress can lead to chronic illness, cardiovascular disease, heart issues, strokes, TIAs, etc., gastrointestinal problems, ulcers. I'm convinced that having been in a stressful situation, not only 26 years of raising my girls, but my work prior to having children, I was a tour manager in Europe and the Far East, and we were on a tight schedule, right? You had to be places at certain times, and if it was high season, if it was vacation time in Italy in August and everybody was on the roads, you have to be timing things. So my gallbladder was completely messed up. It took me years to figure out what it was. The doctor finally diagnosed it, and I had it removed. But I am convinced that that long-term chronic stress that I've experienced in my lifetime was because the gallbladder was a response to that. That's where it landed in my body specifically. And I know that since I had it removed 2 years ago, I've had many fewer issues and illnesses since then, but now I don't have a gallbladder. There's also an impaired immune system. As you know, if you're not taking care of yourself, because how many of us don't put ourselves as number one on our list of who needs to be taken care of, we get sick. And if you're sick and you're not taking care of yourself, you're probably going to get sick much more quickly than the next person because your immune system is now out of whack. You take care of yourself, your immune system is better. You don't, and there are stressors on that immune system that affect us. Insomnia, again, you know this, all the stress that you're feeling, you can't sleep at night. Headaches, migraines, those are also responses to long-term stress. Diabetes can also be triggered by long-term stress. Depression and cancer. So these are just some of those illnesses. So stress affects us physically, emotionally, and behaviorally. So here's examples of the physical. Emotional is that depression, anxiety, right? Behaviorally, people maybe start drinking too much or start taking drugs. Anger, triggers. Anger is triggered. You're not getting things done like you used to. You're not the same person you used to be. You have a shorter fuse, right? So those are all signs of long-term stress. There are ways to manage stress, and it's easy to type these up into a list, right? Be observant. So that means that if you need lunch and you're going through a drive-through to grab that lunch, don't eat and drive. How many of us do that? Don't eat and drive. Pull aside and take 10 minutes or however long it's going to take you to eat that lunch, and just sit still and let go of everything else and just eat what what you have in your hand. Take your time. At home, when you're doing dishes, be observant. Don't be thinking about 70 other things. Take that time to focus on what you're doing and how you're doing it. And believe it or not, it may sound silly to you, but believe it or not, that's a form of mindfulness. When you're actually thinking about what you're doing, whether it's doing dishes or sweeping the floor or eating in the car. You want to be mindful of how you're treating yourself. Getting regular exercise, you hear that a lot. We all need to be exercising more. Try a relaxing activity, coloring, cross stitch, reading, something that's not demanding of you. Set attainable goals. Instead of saying, by Sunday, I'm going to have the Christmas tree decorated, leaves out of the yard, and 17 other things. Just make a short list, 1 or 2 things, because it's so much more satisfying to check out 2 or 3 items than to have 20 items on that list and feel overwhelmed. Be optimistic. So in one of the books I'm reading right now, it reiterates you become who you think you are. So be optimistic. Don't say, I'm so stupid, or I'm so fat, or I can't believe I did that. I've said these things to myself many times, and they still come up, and I have to say to myself, no, you're not. You're smart. You're losing weight. You're taking care of yourself. Turn any negative thought into a positive thought so that it is what is within you. It's called a positive affirmation, and you do it in the present tense. I lose weight. I exercise every day. And when you see that, it's much more attainable, right? When you're optimistic. And remember to breathe. And that's one of the things that we're going to be working with today is breathing and breathing techniques. Because your breath is something that you take with you everywhere, right? And if you don't, well, that's because you're deceased, right? So you take your breath with you everywhere, and you can use your breath to calm yourself. Because it's easier for us whenever we're stressed to first calm the physical body than to calm the mind. And by calming the physical body, whether it's breathing or relaxing our shoulders after we have a stressful situation, shaking out our arms, once you're calm, then you can calm your mind. So we need to practice self-care. And it's took me a long time to learn personally after I had children, after I had my second child, remembering to take care of myself. If I don't take care of myself, who will, right? Who's going to be taking care of me? And if I'm not well, then I'm not able to take care of anybody else. And I know many people have heard this before, but we're reiterating this today so that you have a better understanding. And so that you know, I'm also working with the Down Syndrome Association of Northern Virginia. We'll be putting on stress management courses starting next Thursday evening, and we're going to do 4 weeks for parents. And then starting January 9th, if that's a Saturday, at 3:00 in the afternoon, we'll have, let me check here. Yep, the 9th at 3 in the afternoon. We're going to start yoga for, and I have in parentheses, young adults. So that's available to anyone with any disability or no disability. And we ask that maybe you want to join us. Good self-care is taking care of yourself. So by taking care of yourself, you're going to help maintain your physical, emotional, and mental reserves to prevent and manage stress. Regular sleep, exercise, relaxation, and eating well. Those are the 4 core things we need to be doing to take care of ourselves. Why is practicing self-care so hard to do? It takes effort. You have to set your mind to it. Remember though, just start with 5 minutes a day. Self-care, 5 minutes a day. You don't have to think like I used to do. I need to exercise every day, so I have to set aside an hour to exercise, and I have to be outside and I have to walk for another hour, and I have to do this. I got nothing done because I was overloading myself and my expectations were much too high. And then I became, I can think of the word in 3 other languages. What is it in English? I became, I froze basically. And I started to self-sabotage. So I wasn't, because I was expecting too much of myself. So then I started slowly, right? My yoga practice in the morning, which I don't do every day, and I need to, so I'm still not there either. It may be 10 minutes of yoga, right? And it doesn't have to be up and down and on the floor and 15 sun salutations for those that practice. It can be just 10 minutes to get yourself moving in the morning. Right? You do what you're able to do. And one day you may do 10 minutes and another day you may do an hour, but try to fit in those 5 or 10 minutes. So what can you do now? You can do yoga. And again, here's another reference. This is from the American Osteopathic Association. As I mentioned in the beginning, many different research projects are being done with stress and yoga, stress and Alzheimer's and yoga and cancer, yoga and this. And as a yoga therapist, I'm able to work directly one-on-one with people who have a diagnosis, whether it's cancer or it could be something, it could be Down syndrome, but more illnesses as opposed to anything targeted to a specific disability. So MS, I'm working with a group of individuals with multiple sclerosis, as well as people with physical disabilities in wheelchairs, so helping them. Because yoga helps create mental clarity and calmness. It increases your body awareness. You're in a pose, you have to remember to keep the arms straight or up or down. It helps to relieve chronic stress patterns because you're using the techniques I'm going to be teaching you to help relieve that stress. It relaxes the mind. It centers the attention. We centered first thing this morning, brought ourselves into the here and now, focused our attention so that we could participate here, and it helps to sharpen concentration. So not only is this good for us, but it's also good for our children. We'll be working with breathing techniques, which help to, they're called diaphragmatic. So that's the 3-part breath that we started with in the beginning. And I'll teach that a little more intensely later. And it helps strengthen your respiratory and circulatory systems. Lung capacity increases, something we need, especially during COVID. It helps to decrease anxiety and depression, and your pulse and respiratory rate decrease. So using the breath, just simply using that breath. Research has shown 30 seconds or more of controlling your breath and using this deep breathing. Inhale deeply. Let's do it now. Hands on the lap. Inhale deeply. Through the nose, hold. Exhale through the nose slowly. Again, inhale deeply through the nose. Feel the chest, the lungs, the diaphragm. Hold. Exhale slowly, starting from the bottom. Last time, inhale deeply. Hold. And on the exhale, try to push out as much air as you can from the lungs and the diaphragm, pulling the belly back toward the back spine. And relax. Deep breathing, it helps to calm. Stretching, which is what yoga is, it's stretching, gentle stretching. It helps with flexibility and balance. As we age, our balance gets worse. It's super important to do this. You have no idea how much gentle yoga is being taught in assisted living facilities and nursing homes right now. And it helps improve the endocrine function. So if you tap here, everybody tap a little bit here. This is where your thyroid is. Tapping on the thyroid. That's going to help stimulate it. There are also some stretches that affect this. Any inversions are beneficial to your endocrine function. And it improves endurance and immunity, right? Just like exercise does. It improves your endurance and immunity. We'll talk about and do some relaxation and meditation. I called it stillness in our agenda, the meditation. So what is relaxation and meditation? Well, they're step-by-step approaches that release tension throughout the body. It helps improve concentration. It increases circulation to the heart, and it brightens one's mood. Looks like I have a correction there too. I remember when I went for my first yoga teacher training in 2013, they took pictures of us when we arrived. We're all like, stressed. And after 3.5 weeks, they took pictures of us. Our shoulders were dropped. They were back. There was a calmness in our face. Some wrinkles had disappeared. It was amazing, the difference between, it's almost like in the old Cosmopolitans where you'd see the makeup on women with, this is what you look with and without makeup. It was similar to that effect. And then it helps with self-awareness, self-acceptance, and self-actualization. And this is why it's just as important for our kids to be doing it as it is for us. But we need to be taking care of ourselves first. It helps with memory and learning skills and your subjectivity. Your subjective well-being improves. Being whatever your baseline was, you're going to see improvement from that baseline. So yoga is a complementary and integrative healing approach. So I work with doctors, therapists, chiropractors. When somebody comes and wants to do yoga therapy specifically, I ask for permission to speak to their the provider, their healthcare provider, so we're all on the same page, because you want to take a holistic approach whenever it's yoga therapy. It helps to manage stress and anxiety as well. So we're going to begin with gentle chair yoga now. If you have your camera turned off, I'm going to ask you to turn it on so that I can see you while we're practicing, so that I can make sure that you're in the correct position. I didn't ask anybody to bring any props besides having a chair. If you have a mat, it would be good to put your chair on the mat, or if you have a rug, to put it on a rug, because you don't want to be slipping and sliding, okay? I happen to have a block and other things there, but today I just thought we would do this without having all of those extras, okay? So when you're situated on your chair, the first thing that's always important to do is to have your feet flat on the floor. If you can't have your feet flat on the floor, you can take a blanket to put them under there, right? Put under your feet, or books or blocks or magazines or whatever, because you want your feet to be comfortable, firmly placed on the floor. Excellent. And your knees above your heel, or your knees above your ankles, excuse me. If you're able to, then do not rest your back on your backrest. Okay, try not to sit back, but to sit with an elongated spine with your chin tucked. And we'll start first. I like to start first with this just to remind people. Just bring your shoulders up and around to the back and drop them down, and do that 2 more times. Up to the shoulders, squeeze the shoulders blades together at the back, and rest. And 1 more time, up, back, and down. And keep that. Think of that position. This is how we're really supposed to be, with our shoulders back and our chest sticking out, in order to have the proper alignment. Now rest your hands on your lap, either palms down, palms up. That's up to you. And we're going to begin, and I ask that you listen to my direction and follow my direction. If you can see me, that is great. I've actually taught other teachers as well, and a lot of times when people do yoga, they think they know what the instructor is going to do, and many times we're going to start with a neck roll, and there are a variety, there are 100 ways to do a neck roll, so make sure we're doing this right. In yoga, you never do a full neck roll. So you're going to begin by looking to the right, and then chin to chest, and roll into the center of your chest with your head down. Inhale, head up, enter your head, look to the left, chin to chest, and roll to the center. Inhale up, turn to the right, exhale down, to center, up, turn the neck and head to the left, exhale down, inhale up, last time to the right, down, around, up, and to the left for the final time. This is really good for all of us sitting and then center, all of us that are sitting at our computers with our elbows scrunched up, our shoulders scrunched up and typing like this. The tension, many people carry tension in their neck. So this is beneficial, particularly there. Throughout today, I'll be mentioning the mountain pose. So the mountain pose, there's a seated mountain pose and a standing. Always remember the positioning with your elongated spine. And a mountain pose is simply taking the arms out to the sides of the body, dropping the shoulders, and having the palms facing forward. This is a good relaxation point. You may close your eyes or keep them open. But when I say mountain pose in a seated, this will be the seated position. Okay? Bring your hands to the shoulders, fingertips on the shoulders, and then we're going to move the shoulders forward and then up and around. So this is a simple form of the shoulder rotation as well. But when you put your hands on your shoulders, if anybody has shoulder issues, this is a good way to do it, right? And then reverse direction. Some people will do this with their hands in the air, but some people with shoulder issues can't do that. So just continue to roll. Elongated spine. And then the next time you're at center, relax the hands down into your lap and give a little shake. I like to do a little shake. We'll do a seated cat-cow. So hands can either be on your lap or holding the sides of the chair, whichever you prefer. I'm going to hold the side of my chair. And when you inhale, that's when you're doing the cow. So the cow usually has a slumped back, whereas the cat, when they're angry, they'll arch your back. So on your inhale, push your belly forward, lift your chin and chest, and gaze up. And broaden across your shoulder blades, drawing your shoulders away from your ears. And on the exhale, you bring the shoulders forward, pull the navel toward the spine and lower the head, but you're not forcing anything. Then inhale, belly forward, chest up, chin up, shoulder blades almost touching in the back. Pause. Exhale, arch the back, bring the chin down, hold. And then one last time, inhale, shoulders back, and exhale. This helps with spinal flexibility and release tension, not only in the upper back and between the shoulders. And relax into a mountain pose or Tadasana. Hands to lap. We're going to do a seated cobra. And the seated cobra, I'd like you to interlace, take your hands and interlace your fingers in front of you. Hope you can see me, sorry. And then bend the elbows and start raising them up and bring your interlaced fingers behind your head. And maybe if you can reach this far, then relax. I can't get the whole way down that my hands are behind my neck, but if you can do that. And then inhale and raise the chest, the chin, and the forehead, pulling back the elbows if you can. Again, only do what you're able to do. And on the exhale, similar to the cat-cow, you're pulling the belly button into the spine and releasing the head down and bringing the shoulders together in front of you as far as you can. Inhale up again with the elbows. Spread them out, arch the spine, gentle gaze toward that point where the wall and the ceiling meet. Exhale, relaxing again into the pose, bringing down the head. You can actually use the weight of your hands on your head to get an extra little stretch there. And one last time. Inhale, up, looking, gazing at that point on the wall, bringing the shoulders back. This is also helping to release tension in the upper back. Exhale down, and spinal flexibility. And inhale to center and relax. Side stretch. Place one hand on the side of your chair and hold to that side, the seat of your chair. If you're able to, I'll show you first. If you're able to put your arm out to the side and swing it up like this, do that. If not, if you have an elbow issue, then you can bring it up however you can get it up there. Remember, it's comfortable for you. Make sure your shoulders dropped. Inhale, and then gently exhale as you have that arm alongside your ear, and you want to do a gentle bend toward the side where your hand is holding the chair. Gentle bend, and it's coming from the waist, right? You don't want to tip your head over like that. You're trying to keep your head alongside your arm in a gentle stretch, feeling the stretch of the intercostal muscles here on the side. And then flow up with the arm, with the hand pointing to the ceiling, fingertips, and exhale, stretch. Inhale, fingertips pointing to the ceiling. Exhale, slight stretch. Inhale up and flow the arm down to your side. Use that hand, right hand, if it's handy up, to grasp the side of your chair. Remember, check in with your posture again. And then inhale and sweep the arm out and up alongside your ear. Drop the shoulder. Inhale, exhale with the stretch to that other side. Inhale up. Exhale, slight stretch along the side so you can feel that stretch through here. And up. And one last time. Exhale. Inhale. Relax the arm down to the side. And give it a little shake. So that helped hopefully to loosen up the shoulders, provide some spinal flexibility. And we're going to move on to hand movements now. So I'm going to actually scoot my chair just a little further forward. So with your arms forward, bring your arms forward. Now pull back your shoulders. You don't want to be stretching like this. Remember, you still want to have that elongated spine, and you want your shoulders aligned with the rest of your body. And then spread the fingers like a starfish. So you want to do starfish fingers. Stretch those fingers. Keep the shoulders pushing back and stretch those fingers. One palm turns up toward the ceiling. The other palm up towards the ceiling. Feel your heart lift. So remember, you're still in that nice elongated spine like this. Feel the heart stretching towards the ceiling. And then relax the palms to the lap again. Again, arms forward. Pull back those shoulders. Palms toward the floor. Then send the fingertips up toward the sky. So that I should be able to see everybody's palms. Excellent. A nice starfish fingers there, Jan. I love it. Okay, so again, now remember to keep your shoulders back and then press with the heels of your palms as if you're pushing against an imaginary wall. And feel that tension. Feel that you're actually tensing up. Tensing up is good because when I say release, that has a beautiful effect on us. And that tension and release actually helps to release more tension than if you just simply do a couple of shoulder rolls. Think of your positioning, relax the jaw. We all have a tendency to clamp the jaw shut. Relax your jaw again. And one more time with the arms forward. Sending the fingertips to the floor this time. Spread your fingers and now floor. Remember, shoulders back. Take your right hand and place the thumb of your right hand in the palm of your left hand. Right in the middle of the palm. And then wrap those four fingers around the front of your hand. And then gently push down to give your wrist here. You're giving your wrist a nice stretch. Remember, shoulders back and hold and breathe into that. Always remember to breathe. Relax, give it a shake. Fingertips out again. and down. And take the opposite hand now and place that opposite thumb in the palm of the other hand. Wrap the 4 fingers around it and gently stretch. For those of us on computers, you know we need this. You need to be stretching out those wrists. Breathe into it. Relax and give your wrists a shake. Maybe a little twirl around in one direction, in the other direction. Body movement. It really helps to loosen things up. Okay. The upward salute is a yoga pose that I truly love. I'm going to teach half of it. There are so many different parts to it. I'm going to teach the hands first and the arms, okay? And then eventually we'll move later on into the lower part of it. In an upward salute, remember your positioning, feet on the floor. Bring your arms to your sides, your palms, kind of like that mountain pose. Now turn your hands so the thumbs are facing back toward the wall. None of us are going to get them the whole way back. And on an inhale, bring the arms up overhead. And I'm going to move forward to show you this. And when the arms come up overhead, you're going to bring the heels of your palms together. This is overhead though, because I can't, let me get on my knees to show you here. The heels of the palms together, the palms and the fingertips. So you're basically have your hands like this, but you do it step by step. Gently point the pinkies toward the ceiling and lift your gaze towards your hands. Make sure your shoulders are dropped. And on the exhale, bring your hands to heart center. And then point your fingertips forward towards your screen. And then down towards the floor. Drop the shoulders. Inhale, fingers up. And exhale into mountain pose. So watch for a minute. So when you bring your arms up overhead and they're elongated, heels, palms, fingertips, and then your heels, palms, fingertips, and then you're pointing the pinky toward the ceiling and the thumbs back. Let's just try that. Just bring your arms to center. Start with your heels, your hands, heels, palms, fingertips, and then tilt the pinkies toward the ceiling and your thumb back. Beautiful. Okay? You're going to be gazing. But so let's do that. We're going to do that 2 more times. And then the second time, I'm going to add the rib cage. Okay? Mountain pose. Inhale deeply. Exhale. And on the next inhale, arms up and overhead. If you're able to, then heels, palms, fingertips, pinkies toward the ceiling. And your rib cage is probably pushing out forward at this point. You're going to tuck the rib cage back towards the spine. And then you're going to elongate again and hold and breathe so that the entire circumference of your waist now is getting a stretch. And remember to gaze at the finger to the ceiling, your fingers and hands above. And on the next exhale, hands to heart center. Point the fingertips forward, downward, keeping the shoulders dropped, forward, up. Exhale, and we're going to flow out to the sides, arms up, heels, palms, fingertips, pinkies high, chin looking, raised at the hands. Push back the rib cage, breathe. Keep your shoulders dropped. Inhale, exhale. Keep breathing. And on the next exhale, bring the heart to center. Fingertips forward. Fingertips down. Center. No. It's a nice way to get the entire, by bringing back the rib cage, by tucking it back and then extending. You get a stretch the entire way around. With the side bend, we were simply stretching the intercostal muscles. But with both hands up in this position, it's good. And you do what's comfortable for you. I have trouble getting my arms completely out. Like I can't always sweep out because of my left shoulder giving me trouble lately. So we do what's comfortable for us, and you never want to overextend or feel too much tension or pressure. Yoga is often called meditation in motion. And so you want to feel good about what you're doing. And it's not a competition. You do what's good for you and what's best for your body. In the yoga, there's also something called Tibetan hips. Now, this can also be done on the mat. A lot of these poses can be done on the mat, but we're staying in the chair. So I'd like you to scoot forward so that you're at the last third of your chair, sitting with your butt there, feet still firmly on the floor, hands on the hips or lap, or if you need to hold on, you can always hold on to your chair for stability. Tibetan hips is you're rotating your hips. So if you can push your pelvic floor forward to the right, and then push back and around. You're just rotating your hips in the chair. Get some hip flexibility going here. It's a little tricky. You're not going to be able to do as big a move as if you were standing up or if you were on the floor, but it helps to get the synovial fluids flowing. And they always say juicy hips. I never understood that until I started doing this on the floor. And it really does after a while. Now switch direction, rotate in the opposite direction, almost a little bit of a cow-cat motion here with the back, right? So you're also helping with that back flexibility. Around. Okay. Excellent. When you're back at center, gently slide back into your chair again. Leg lifts. These are seated leg lifts, foot flap, and ankle rotation. So you've noticed we've been working from the top down. We've done some extensions. We've done some back bends, the forward bends in the cat-cow. And now we're going to work a little bit. We did the hips, and now we're going to do a little bit on the legs. And then for anybody afterwards that's able to stand up, we can do some standing with the chair. So extend the, hold on to the sides of your chair if you'd like, or in your lap. Again, I always hold on to the sides of the chair. Not always, but I do prefer this in this one. So inhale and lift the left leg and hold it up at whatever level you can for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. And then point the toes, flex. Point. Remember to engage the abdominal muscles. Point, flex. And then rotate your foot in one direction. 1, 2, 3. They say if you look at it, you're able to rotate it better. 1, 2, 3 in the opposite direction. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift the opposite leg, hold it up, flex foot 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Point, flex, point, flex, point, flex. Rotate in one direction with the ankle and the opposite direction. 1, 2, 3. Relax. Inhale. Opposite leg again. Up. 1. Engage the abdominal. 2, 3. Point. Flex. Point. Flex. Point. Flex. Rotate. 1, 2, 3. And then the ankle in the opposite direction. Again, you're getting the synovial fluids. Relax. 2. Warm up. Inhale, lift the other leg. 3 seconds. Point, flex, flex, point, flex, and then rotate. 1, 2, 3. There we go. My ankle's starting to crack now. 1, 2, 3, and relax. And we'll do this one more time so you can do it. Inhale, leg up, engage the abdominals. 3 seconds. 1. The better you get at this, the longer you can hold it, right? 1, point, 2, 3, and rotate in one direction. Looking at my foot. So this is helping the thighs, the abdomen, the opposite direction, and relax. Last time on the opposite side, inhale, elongate that spine, engage the abdominals, hold for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Point, flex, point, flex, point, flex, and then rotate. 1, 2, 3 in one direction with the ankle, 1, 2, 3. And the opposite. Relax. Close the eyes. Come into a seated mountain pose. Breathe. And feel the benefits so far of this gentle chair yoga practice. Is there anybody here today that is not able to stand and use their chair? Somebody's talking, but I can't understand what's being said. No? Okay, so if you're able to stand up, I'd like you to stand up, please. And make sure that your chair is either placed on the mat or the rug. Jan, are you going to be able to stand up?
I don't think so today.
So you can do, I'll instruct you for what you can be doing in your chair as well. Okay. We're going to start with this you can't do in your chair. This, you're going to stand. Jan, you sit, and we're just simply going to swing. So Jan, you can swing your arms to the left and right. If you have a tendency to get dizzy, you need to be careful with this and keep it gentle. You want to make bigger swings, you can turn your body and your head. But if there's dizziness, don't swing the head and just take gentle swings. This is, and do it at your own speed. Do as much as you want, as little as you want. And Jan, just left to right. Yeah. Breathe in. Breathe out. Remember to breathe. In and out. Do what's comfortable for you. And gently come back slowly to center. Okay. And we'll do a standing forward bend. Jan, in your chair, you can do the forward bend, but by placing the hands on your thighs, coming forward with an elongated spine. Keep your head above your heart level, though. Okay? For those of us standing, you're going to place your hands on the back of your chair and move backwards with your feet. Step back slowly. I'm going to move my chair forward. Step back slowly. And as you're going back, you can see your spine is starting to come down. Step back until your spine, until your torso is parallel with the floor and your neck. You're keeping that spine elongated. You have uncontrolled high blood pressure or glaucoma, you always want your head above your heart. And simply feel the stretch. Feel the back of the thighs, along the neck, the spine. Everybody looks good. Looking good. Very good. And then, Jan, you can walk your hands back up. And everybody walk your feet forward toward the chair to elongate that spine again. And that was a standing forward bend. Jan, for you, the next one, this is an upward facing dog. You're going to use your feet. Pretend that my feet are on the floor. You're going to do toe.
Okay.
You'll lift the toes, tippy toe. Okay? Those of us standing, hold on to the back of your chair. Come close to the chair. And you can't see my feet, but we're going to do that. We're going to inhale up on our tippy toes. Exhale down onto the soles of our feet. And then tip the toes forward. This is just a gentle step up on the toes, flat foot, and then toes lifted. Okay? Tippy toe, flat foot, toes lifted. Do this at your own pace. Engage the abdominals. Lower the shoulders. Always release that tension in your shoulders and your jaw. Just rock back and forth. If you're able to, those of you standing up, if you'd like to raise one arm while doing this, you may. I'm going to move my chair back. You can raise one arm, down, up, down. Bring that hand down, arm down, and do the opposite arm, if you'd like. Or if you're able to do both arms, up on the tippy toes, down on the flat foot, up on the tippy toes. And then come back to center. I'm trying to check the time. Good, we have 25 more minutes. Okay. This is my favorite. I'm biased. This is my very, very favorite pose. It's a standing locust pose. So Jan, you're going to want to come to the edge of your seat. So this is the chair. Come to the edge of your seat. And you're going to bring your left foot forward so that it's flat on left leg forward, flat on the floor. There's going to be a slight arch in your spine, mostly coming from here. And you're going to raise the right arm up, holding to the chair with the left one. And then when we release, you'll come down, bring the leg in, the arm in, extend the opposite leg, and then bring up the opposite arm and hold like that, okay? Okay. For those of us standing, holding on to the back of your chair, take 1/2 step back, take the left leg and slide the left foot along the mat till you're on your toe. And see how your spine is elongated. You can stay here. You can choose to lift that leg or not. And then if you're comfortable, release the opposite arm. So left leg back, opposite arm forward and up overhead so that the arm is alongside your ears. And then gentle back bend. Coming from the back, top of your back by the shoulder blades, not arching from the lower back. And breathe in and gaze upward, out. Always look toward that crease in the ceiling and the wall where the two meet. And then exhale down, sliding the foot forward and bringing the hand down. Opposite leg, slide the right foot along the toes, along the mat. Exactly, you have it. And then the opposite arm up, gentle bend and hold. Everybody looks like they're doing well. Very good. And then exhale down into that standing pose. For the downward, Jan, do you have issues with glaucoma or uncontrolled high blood?
Little high blood pressure sometimes,
But it's controlled.
mostly controlled.
Ask your sister. Sorry. We'll do a chair downward facing dog. This is considered an inversion. And I mentioned that inversions are good for the thyroid. So this is one of those poses. So you're going to turn your chair around so that you have the seat of the chair toward you. Jan, in your chair, you don't have to turn your chair around, obviously. But what you want to do is bring the hands, you usually do onto the lap. And then if you're able to, you slide your hands down your legs to whatever position is comfortable for you and stop there. And you can lower your head gently if you'd like. Okay. The other option, Jan, in the chair is to come back. You're a little bit away from the back of the chair and you raise your legs and come up like this. So it's basically the V pointing to the ceiling as opposed to the ceiling. Okay. For those of us standing, you place your hands on the middle of the seat, and on the sides of the chair, in the middle of the chair seat, the sides. We'll have to think about how to explain that. And then walk the feet backward, slowly, and then bring your torso downward. And so you want to eventually have your head lower than your shoulders. So you walk down and you bring that torso in between the arms, the head in between the arms, holding on, but I'm trying to show you here. So that you're actually in an inversion, but using the support of the chair. It's a gentler downward facing dog than if you were on the mat. Inhale, exhale. You'll feel tension being there between the shoulder blades, perhaps. It helps with the blood circulation. You want to keep down, again, if you glaucoma and uncontrolled blood pressure, high blood pressure, or low, you keep your head up, but otherwise bring it down. And if you're ready to come out of the pose, simply walk forward and gently come up into a standing position. For a mountain.
Please give her your ID.
For a mountain pose.
Your badge.
Shh, I'm teaching, dear. You write down what you need. And then if you'd like, you can use your chair or not. And we're going to, the last standing pose is a tree pose, and this is for balance. So Jan, you can take the seated Tadasana, the seated mountain pose, and hold that. Remember, shoulders up and back, hands to the side, and breathe, okay? For the rest of us, you may use the chair. Bring your weight onto the leg, the hip closest to the chair, and turn the knee, opposite knee outward. And then in a kickstand pose for the tree pose, you simply have your heel of the bent knee leg with the bent knee resting against the opposite leg right above the ankle. Some people can bring it up to their calf. And then if you need the support of the chair, fine, and then bring the other hand to heart center. If you don't need the support of the chair, you can bring both hands to heart center. You can bring your hands out to a cactus tree. You can be a willow blowing in the wind, whatever you prefer. And if you come out of it like I just did, that's okay. This is excellent for balance. You want to have a focal point that you're looking at to help you stay focused and balanced. And then gently bring the hands to heart center. Bring them down to the chest. Relax the arms, bring the foot down. At any given time when you come out of the pose, you may do so. Now you can either turn around, have your back toward me, that's fine. My chair is super light, so I'm just going to flip it over to the opposite side. And for the other side of the tree pose, holding onto the chair, inhale, exhale, find your focal point, shift the weight to your leg closest to the chair, bend the opposite knee, turn it outward. Try to keep the hips squared here. Don't sink into it. Try to keep them squared. And then either kickstand or on the calf and balance. And do with your arms as you wish. Hands to heart center. Relax. And let's sit back down in our chairs again. Okay. Oops, I need my leg, under my feet again. It's really important to have that stability under the feet. Okay, we have to keep checking the clock. Okay,
So if it ends early, that's okay. We're good.
Oh, okay, good. So if you're wearing glasses, I'd like you to remove your eyeglasses. We're going to do some eye exercises. I love the name in Sanskrit. It's Netra Vyayaman. It's kind of a silly word, but there are exercises. And again, for those of us working on the computer or in front of screens, it's really helpful. So elongate the spine, feet firmly on the floor, knees above the ankles. Close the eyes. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And then on the next inhale, open the eyes, look forward, and then look up to the ceiling as if you were looking at a clock, 12 o'clock, and then look straight down vertically to 6 o'clock. 12, do not move the head. 12, 6, 12, 6. Continue doing that. 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 12, 6 at your own pace, remembering to breathe. The next time you're at 12 o'clock, center the eyes forward and close the eyes. Relax the shoulders, relax the jaw, relax the tongue in your mouth. Open the eyes, horizontal, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Continue at your own pace. This helps to stimulate the optic nerves. It massages the eyeballs, and it helps with blood circulation. Many people believe the eyes are a part of the brain, so you're stimulating the brain at the same time. The next time you are at 3 o'clock, bring it in, center the eyes, and close them. Open the eyes. Now look at 2 o'clock on your clock and diagonally down to 8 o'clock. 2 o'clock, 8 o'clock. 2 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Continue at your own pace. This is something you can do while sitting at your computer. Take a 3-minute break and relax, exercise those eyes and get them looking in a different way. The next time they're at 2, center and close. Open. Opposite diagonals, so 10 o'clock, 4, 10, 4. Continue. The next time you're at 10, look forward, close the eyes, bring the palms together and rub your hands together, creating friction and heat in the palms of your hands. Make them really super nice and warm. And then when they're warm enough, you're going to bring the heels of the palms on your cheekbones and the tips of the fingertips along the hairline so that you're cupping this warmth over your eyes. And allow the eyelids still closed, allow it to absorb the heat. Breathe, relax the shoulders. And as that heat dissipates, take your fingertips, massage along the hairline to the temples, and then gently massage the temples in one direction with your fingertips. And then in the opposite direction, bring the fingertips along the eyebrows and massage the eyebrows, underneath, around the eye sockets, under the eyes, back and forth. Bring the fingertips to that joint where the jaw connects and massage that in one direction, loosening the jaw. In the opposite direction. I love this. I hold my tension there. And then take your fingertips and tap under the cheekbone. Tap, 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 tap under the cheekbones. This is a form of Qigong massage that we're doing. Tap, 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 tap. And then take the fingertips and slide them down along the jaw. Up and down, up and down. I'm going to show you what to do. You keep rubbing. You're going to make your fingertips into a V or a peace sign, and take those and rub those on either side of your ears. Have them go up along either side of the ear, so the earlobe is basically in the V of that, and massage there. There are many acupressure points that we're activating now. Massage up and down, and then take your hands and squeeze your ears. And turn your hands the other way and just give your ears a massage. Your ears outside of the ears, the earlobes. Give them a nice rub, releasing tension. Believe it or not, we even hold tension in our ears. Then bring the hands down along the jawline again. And then cross over if you're able to, and you can massage the back of your neck or wherever you feel right now that you have a little extra tension that you'd like to be releasing. Mine's always in the neck and jaw. And then exhale, hands to the lap, keeping your eyes closed. Relaxing with the hands on the thighs. And we're going to do a relaxation in the chair. So keep the eyes closed. Elongated spine, chin tucked. I know I say that a lot, but posture is really important. And the palms on your thighs, either palms down or palms up. This is a seated relaxation or seated savasana. Savasana is a corpse pose usually done on the mat, but we can do the relaxation in the chair. Close your eyes, relax. We'll start with tense and release. So tense the right toes, curl them under, tense the right foot, tense the right leg. If you're able to lift it off the floor a smidge, do so. And on the exhale, release with a gush of air, release. Stretch out those toes, rotate the ankle, and then place the foot on the floor and forget about it. Left side, inhale, squeeze the toes, squeeze the feet, squeeze the ankles, tense the leg muscles, lift the leg, release. Tense the buttocks, squeeze the butt cheeks, squeeze them together, tense them on the chair, tense, tense, tense. Release. Take the arms out alongside as if you were in a seated mountain pose. Spread those fingers and tense the arm muscles. Squeeze them into fists. Lift them up a smidge on either side. Release. Bring the palms back in. Give a little shake and forget about it. Inhale, expanding the chest. Expand, inhale as much as you can. Inhale, 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 hold. Release. This time, inhale, bringing the air into the chest, the lungs, the diaphragm, and expanding the belly. Much as you can, hold it like a balloon, hold it, hold it, hold it. Release. Always gushing out that air on the release, that release tension. Pull the shoulders up to the ears, squeeze it, pull that tension in them, tense them up, release. Bring the shoulders toward the front of the chest, squeeze them together, expanding the back, squeeze, 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 release. Squeeze the shoulders toward the back, pushing together those shoulder blades with your focal point right between the shoulder blades. Shoulders back, squeeze, release. Gently move the left ear to the left shoulder, center up with the head. Exhale down to the right shoulder, right ear to right shoulder. Up again, do it a couple more times. Comfortable for you. Up. Remembering to breathe. Center. Squeeze your face into a prim face. So squeeze your lips together, purse your lips, squeeze the cheeks, push everything towards your nose. Squeeze it all together, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Release. Open the mouth, extend the tongue, open the eyes and look up towards the ceiling. You can bring your hands up too for a lion's breath. Inhale, and on the exhale, let it all out. Inhale again, open that jaw, let the tongue out, look up towards the ceiling, and relax. Relax the jaw, relax the tongue, relax the cheeks, the ears, the top of your head. Relax. Adjust the body if you need to. And imagine warm, golden light entering through the crown of your head, through your crown chakra, entering and filling your body with this warm, golden light of unconditional love. Swirling gently in your head, behind the eye sockets, the jaws, the chin, the back of the head. This light is gently swirling down the back of the neck and around to the throat, warming you internally, and on every exhale, you're releasing tension. Allow this golden light to flow into your shoulders, along the upper arms, the lower arms, out the fingertips, coming back and going up the hands, the palm of the hands, the wrists, your forearms, the insides of the elbows, your upper arms. relaxing and releasing tension as it warms your upper chest, your heart, your lungs, your internal organs, filling them with warmth and golden light. Into the abdominals, the hips and pelvic region. Along the front of the thighs, imagine it over the knees, releasing tension and warming the knees, the shins, the ankles, the front of the feet, and the toes. And coming in along the soles of the feet and warming them and massaging them. And the heel, the heels, the Achilles heels, the calves, warm golden light of unconditional love. The backs of the knees, the backs of the thighs, the buttocks, the lower back and your lumbar, the muscles in your low mid back and the spine. So it reaches that thoracic region and releases any tension there, warming it, coming into the cervical spine in your neck, warming the neck again, keeping you warm, keeping that warmth within you into your head, and wrapping this warm golden light around you. Maintain this warmth while we sit in silence for a few minutes. If there are any thoughts that come into your mind, acknowledge them and let them go. Let go of those thoughts. Focus on the warmth. Begin to deepen your breath, keeping the eyes closed. Bring the awareness back into the room. Keep the eyes closed as we move on to a 3-part breath, where I'm going to help you with learning to breathe fully and completely so that you can help yourself to decrease anxiety and stress in your life. Breathe in through the nose, out through the nose. The 3-part breath is the chest, the diaphragm, and the abdomen. That's where the focus is. So breathe in and feel that air in through the nostrils, into the throat, expanding the chest, and exhale through the nose. Inhale, nose, throat, chest, and feel it expanding the lungs now. Hold and exhale. Lungs, chest, nose. Inhale through the nose, into the chest, the lungs, the diaphragm, and your abdomen. Now the hold, the air isn't actually in the abdomen, but it helps to expand it. And exhale slowly, pulling the belly button back to the spine, exhaling out, pushing it out of the diaphragm, the lungs, out of the chest. Inhale deeply. Chest, diaphragm, abdomen, hold. Exhale slowly. Inhale deeply, chest, diaphragm, abdomen. Exhale slowly, pushing out as much air as you can out of the lungs. Continue at your own pace. 3-part breath. This calms the nerves. The parasympathetic nervous system relaxes. Stress is the sympathetic nervous system being activated. This is why deep breathing is so important. Inhale deeply. Always exhale slowly to calm yourself. Inhale, exhale. And continue breathing as you focus now on the rest of your day and think of something that you would like to do today. I will finish my work, for example, which I need to do today, or I will be happy. I will remember, I will use these breathing techniques. Something positive, think of that, focus on that. And when you're ready, gently open the eyes. Come back into the room. And I hope that people are feeling relaxed. And I'm going to share my screen again. So page down. So remember, yoga. So this is from the Mayo Clinic. Again, research is fantastic. Yoga may help reduce stress, lower blood pressure, and lower your heart rate. And almost anyone can do it because there are many forms of gentle yoga. So I hope that you're feeling relaxed now. You're feeling calmer than you did at the beginning of the meeting. And remember that your breath is portable and you take it with you everywhere you go. So use it to remain calm and remember to stretch because that's also something we can do just about anywhere. Thank you.
Thank you, Tia.